Welcome back to DecoyNoise and another episode of Am I the Antagonist in Am I the Antagonist for Giving My Girlfriend a Reality Check? So as always, read the story in its entirety. I take it over to Decoy Court so I can give you my knee-jerk reaction to the situation. I read over some of the top comments, and then I read your comments down below. But let's go ahead and get to the story right now. So OP wrote, I've, a 23-year-old male, have always been a hard worker kind of guy. I take school and education very seriously, and that's how I've managed to graduate from college at 22 and got a full-time job at 23. I'm now living with my girlfriend, a 22-year-old female, in a crappy apartment so we can raise some money and buy a house. According to my calculations, we could buy our dream house in about 10 months and maybe a car. The problem is, my girlfriend is still in college and that didn't want to work at all. Keep in mind that I respect your choice of not wanting to work while studying. This just shows how seriously she takes her education, right? No, because she suddenly dropped out arguing I could support both of us and she could be a housewife. I was very disappointed in her to hear that. No, and very, very disappointed to hear that, but still, it's okay. Being a housewife isn't easy and is very helpful, so I thought everything would be okay. But 3 weeks later, and she isn't doing what she promised me. I'm the one who cooks lunch and dinner and the one who cleans up the house. The only thing she actually does on a daily basis is breakfast. And then she asked me if I could pay for a 6-month nursing training program. I was reluctant to pay the program after she dropped out of college without asking my opinion, but I did it anyway. 2 weeks ago, I received an email since I'm the one who pays the program, and she isn't doing her assignments and isn't attending the online classes. I freaked out and yelled at her about how much money I'm spending on this and how many extra months we'll have to wait to buy our house and our car because of her lack of responsibility, and she calls me a greedy, conceited antagonist and that she thinks about the money, that just thinks about the money and belittles her for having a job. I gave her an ultimatum. Either she finishes the program, almost impossible at this point, she's probably going to fail, or I kick her out. I love her, but I can't let someone who acts like a teenager slow me down. I love her as much as I love my own future and dreams. She wasn't happy and ended up leaving herself at the moment without taking her stuff. The next day, her older sister came to talk to me. According to her, I was being the antagonist for trying to rush my girlfriend into making her professional choices, and that girlfriend is just being herself, and there's no problem with that, so I should apologize and ask her to come back. I don't think so. I'm just letting her in again if she wants to take her stuff and leave me, or she's ready to study and finish the program like an adult would do. I think I'm right on this one, but hearing other opinions is always better, right guys? So, am I the antagonist? Too long, didn't read. Girlfriend is not attending classes, so I gave her an ultimatum. She left out the house. Her family thinks I'm the antagonist. So, as always, take the case and rush it over to the Decoy Court so I can give you my knee-jerk reaction to the situation. And honestly, this is the case of the boyfriend is trying to raise the girlfriend. The girl is, she's 22 years old, but she's just not ready for the real world. The real world doesn't give you opportunity to just drop out of college and then just, oh, okay, yeah, that didn't work out. Let me be a housewife and take that as a job. Oh, you know what? It's too hard to cook lunch and dinner. I'd rather just, I'm making a big assumption, but they just rather hang out on the internet and, watch television all day. I can't imagine what else they're doing, but that didn't work out. That's too difficult. Let me do a impacted nursing course that's only 6 months. Ooh, that didn't work out. You know what? You're being too hard. This is just who I am. I'm lazy and I don't know how to commit to things, so how dare you make me suffer the consequences for my own life choices? Like, no, this is just, he either needs to accept the fact that he's going to raise the girlfriend as a dependent or move on, which it even gives you some insight on he's not ready. Maybe I'm the antagonist for making her suffer the consequences of her actions. Maybe I should give her another chance to try to do it because I love her, but I love my career. Obviously, he needs to understand that he's raising a child in this situation. It's not an equal, it's not a peer, it's just someone that he's gonna have to shovel money at. So either he understands that's his position in the relationship or not. But let's go ahead and say that the decoy defense, so the inverse of that, what would be the scenario where the girlfriend wouldn't be the antagonist is if, obviously, it's not his responsibility to raise this person, but maybe she's been with OP through thick and thin, and he shouldn't be the person to look after her because she's looked after him. Maybe she has a severe case of just ADHD and also is has a severe case of depression, and he's just not seeing the warning signs, and he's not there for her. Like, it's all written on the wall that she needs help, and he's just kind of ignoring him or ignoring them. And maybe the big part of this equation right here that's not being shown is, you know, she's actually going through dialysis, and that's why made it so she couldn't do the regular college, and she couldn't be a stay-at-home housewife because, you know, there's just too many times where she can't cook dinner. And then she's like, okay, maybe I'll do nursing program because this is, like, you know, what I see every day, and just there's lots of obstacles in the way that just aren't her fault. But like I said, the decoy defense is just oftentimes about, like, you know, absurd things that would make the inverse of the decoy court. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that obviously he's not the antagonist. He's a little bit the antagonist for not seeing the writing on the wall and not being able to put his foot down earlier, and kind of maybe cultivating this environment where the girlfriend thinks she can get away with this, and that this wouldn't be a problem for her just to kind of drop out of not only school, her responsibilities at home, and the nursing program, just dropping out of life and saying, hey, look, I'm not going to contribute anything to you know, my well-being. Why isn't the boyfriend taking care of me? Why isn't OP doing what he always does, you know? So obviously that's a bit of a stretch, still saying with the not the antagonist, but we'll take that short break right now so you guys can give me your feedback down below, and also maybe subscribe with the notifications on. But let's go ahead and get to that top comment right now. So the top comment is saying, not the antagonist. Why are you wasting your time on someone who does not share your goals? She sees you as a meal ticket and nothing more. Dump her and move her on. And that's the thing is, you know, you don't want to say that all these situations are bad, but oftentimes you have someone that's so focused in their career and what they're doing that they don't really necessarily need a peer. Maybe they just need a support system where, you know, OP was seeing that as a situation where it's like, hey, maybe I don't want someone that is also in school and a career. Maybe I just want a girlfriend that's going to be a stay-at-home mom and take a home keeper, and that would make sense if he's working, you know, 120-hour weeks. Is that even possible? Maybe 80-hour weeks. Maybe he's working 80-hour weeks and is always constantly stressed out and just wants to come home to someone that's gonna keep, you know, their house vacuumed, make sure the dogs are fed, and, you know, just general upkeep, like, you know, having a personal assistant that he doesn't pay, someone that's just at home doing all his shopping, getting all the groceries fed, that makes sure that he's always stocked up on his favorite snacks and doesn't have to deal with anything, doesn't have to like, you know, come home and hear somebody else's problems that are equally as stressful as his. Maybe it's just a situation where it's like, cool, he gets to come home and decompress and hear about what the Kardashians did today. I don't know, that's a stretch, but I'm, you know, trying to be fair, give everybody their fair shake. But let's go ahead and go to the next reply saying, not the antagonist. She is acting like a child and doesn't have a drive or motivation to succeed. Why are you still with her? And OP did reply to that, but maybe he's saying he's still with her because he likes her company. Like, sometimes you don't need to date someone that is your, I hate to say this, but your intellectual peer, you know? Sometimes you could be a very witty, smart person, and it's just fun to be with someone that just is, I don't want to say, oh, she's dumber than you, so you take advantage of it, but it's like, sometimes it's a good thing just to have someone that's just absorbed in, I don't know, just basketball or something. It's just a nice thing. Like, you don't want, if you're this very politically charged debate person, and you hate everything and you're super wound up, that when you come home someone's just like, oh my god, did you hear what happened to the neighbor's cat? Oh my god, what happened? It's you know, opposites attract type of situation. But let's go ahead and see what OP had to say. Your comment just made me think, why? This isn't something you normally think about, and I can't think of a good reason. I don't want to break up with her because I know she'll be hurt and that could trigger her depression. At the same time, being with her will hurt me. I can't decide. So the sad part is it was kind of true in the idea that she may be suffering other conditions right now with depression or, you know, ADHD, where she's just not happy overall. And he's a nice guy and she's probably been around through thick and thin, so he wants to do the same thing for her. So kudos to him for not just bailing on the girlfriend when times get a little bit rough, but also the idea that this just strikes me as someone with low self-esteem, as OP is, where he doesn't think he can do better or get another girlfriend, so he's just staying with her because, you know, he's afraid of what's on the other side of, you know, this relationship, being single and all that, and, you know, just not thinking he can do any better. So it's kind of sad that this is it where he's at right now, where he just doesn't think he can do it any better, where, you know, maybe this is where he belongs because that's just what he wants. So let's go ahead and just read a couple controversial comments, where the top controversial comment says, not the antagonist, but this relationship lacks communication, which is very true. And the top other one that has lots of downvotes saying, everyone sucks here. I'm going to get roasted, but here's why you both sucks. Girlfriend, obvious why she sucks. Unmotivated, lazy, and taking advantage of you. But here's why you suck too. You're a 23-year-old man, and you sound bright. What are you doing playing around with this fellow 20-ish-year-old girl? Your frontal lobe and full ability for executive function doesn't finish developing until you're 25. You are way too young to be making these huge life decisions like picking a partner, funding someone's education, and buying a house with someone. I know this sounds harsh, but I married my spouse at 22 and we're doing amazing. The party emojis crowd are going to roast me, but it's backed by science and it's fundamentally true. Take it from a fellow-minded, I'm a hard-working 23-year-old who got married too young, paid my slouch of spouse's debts in full twice, had kids too young, bought a house too young, and finally only fully realized who I am and what I actually want in my 30s. To be honest, as bright and hardworking as you sound, with all due respect, OP, you sound quite naive and immature. Honestly, OP, I know firsthand how patronizing it is to hear this type of advice. I didn't take it myself, but 23 is baby in a long scheme of life. Nothing in an emergency here. Slow your roll and wait. So here's the thing. This person got heavily downvoted and probably controversially downvoted and upvoted, but this is probably exactly what OP needs to hear, where it's saying, hey, I'm guessing they got downvoted because the beginning of this comment was pretty condescending about the whole frontal lobe and you haven't completed your developing and everything, because that's not what they want to hear. But the second part of this comment where they say you are too young to be making these lifelong decisions, oftentimes people, until they're like, you know, late mid-30s, know who they truly are and what they want in life. And that's the thing, is maybe they want to develop into the adult man they need to be. Obviously at 23 you are an adult man, but you still have a bit of growing up to do to make those, like, you know, lifelong decisions. In my opinion, the whole like having children and picking somebody, this person seems OP, meaning seems like they're quite unsure of themselves in the sense of, yeah, I want this and that, but the whole I don't want to lead the girl and I don't really know if this is what I want and I can do it. They don't seem very, you know, certain of themselves, or I guess the word I want to say is self-assured. So yeah, they shouldn't be making this type of decision, not because their age, but just by the way they're acting, in the sense that they don't know how to say, I definitively want this, or this is what I want in my life, and, you know, my spouse or partner in life should act accordingly. They're just kind of shrugging their shoulders, hands in the air. So obviously they're not ready for that type of relationship. But, you know, as always, earn yourself the Decoy coin by giving me your feedback down below. I like to hear that. But also subscribe with the notifications on. I keep on plugging it because my subscribership is just really struggling lately. Go check out that Decoy voice channel as well if you want to see my other content and kind of see me develop into something else. I'm not exactly certain what that second channel will be, but we'll kind of figure it out as we go along. But as always, thanks for hanging out with me as long as you have. This kind of quarantine DecoyNoise, low energy type of content, it's gonna be an adjustment as I kind of navigate what I'm doing right now in life. But, you know, thanks for hanging out. Go ahead and share this video or the channel overall with somebody you think that might like this type of content. But if nothing else, put this on autoplay and watch the next episode of DecoyNoise coming up next.